Welcome, everyone. It's the 50th anniversary of A Chorus Line. Yeah. And you all, I know, are the super fans that got the tickets in the first hour and a half, I think, that we posted it. So if you haven't already realized, as you've talked among yourself, you're among friends. This is not only the 50th anniversary of A Chorus Line, but it's also the 60th anniversary of this building, the Library for the Performing Arts. Yeah. I was just talking with Kelly Bishop backstage about how Joseph Papp was actually here in the year before A Chorus Line opened on Broadway, and I think that the enormous success of A Chorus Line helped him kind of completely focus on the downtown public theater space. We have so much material related to A Chorus Line here. We have the original public theater production in the Theater on Film and Tape Archive. We have Joseph Papp's archive and the Public Theater's archive. We have Ed Kleben, who wrote the lyrics, and actually most of the lyrics for A Chorus Line, if you're interested to see how they develop from early drafts in a notebook to a score, you can actually look at in our digital collections anywhere in the world. So if you go to digitalcollections.nypl.org and search for Ed Kleben, you'll find all those lyrics. Anyway, we have so many other archives as well related to A Chorus Line and all the other shows that I'm sure you all enjoy. But I know you're not interested in, at this moment, hearing me. You're interested in hearing the the original cast of A Chorus Line. So please welcome on stage Richard J. Alexander, Kelly Bishop, Baayork Lee, Donna McKechnie, and Priscilla Lopez.
Wow, how about that, ladies? Sorry we're a little late. We were gabbing backstage and having such a blast, we realized it was 3:07, so I apologize. They deserve that, and I'm going to ask them to stand up one more time. Look how good they look. Come on, ladies, get up. Come on. Give it up. They did not throw away those dancer bodies. They did not throw them away. So, my name is Richard J. Alexander. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. And I know all these ladies in different sort of degrees. But I just want to share with you, I told them earlier today, I think one of the reasons I'm sitting in this chair is because I am you. Let me be very clear. I totally get it. I moved to New York in the fall of 1975. And today is the actual anniversary. Do you know that? Today is the day. Today is the opening night at the Schubert, and I was broke and just got to town, and I bought a $6 ticket, the last seat all the way on the left in the last balcony. But this is where I get emotional. I may as well have been in the front row because I was there in the room breathing the same air as these unbelievable talented people. And I wanted to be doing what they're doing. And don't forget, there was no internet back then. Maybe I heard the cast album once, but I had no idea what the story was. And all of you have a Chorus Line story. I'm so aware of this. There's no way you can't. It's so historic. So mine is that, like, I am slapping myself, pinching myself that I am here with these fantastic ladies. So I don't really know what I'm going to do, but I think I do. So, like I said, I know them all different ways. I think what I'd like to open with is there's been so much written about Chorus Line. There's some good books, some medium books, some okay books. A lot's been written, said. We're 2 generations into a musical, you know, with a rabid audience. Some of you, just out of curiosity, who's been in a Chorus Line anywhere? Raise your hand. Yeah. So I knew that would happen. And how many people sitting here, another show of hands, I apologize, actually saw the original cast? Oh, wow. That's extraordinary. So for you all, just so you know, I'm saving time on the end to take questions from you because I'm sure I may not cover everything that you want to know, and we've got them hostage. So, you know. But I think the way I would like to start, I'm pretty knowledgeable, And they all have stuff inside them that we don't know. And I would like to address the four ladies. I'm going to start with you, Baayork. I want each of you to tell me, right? What is it that you want people to know about the original chorus line, but personal to you? And I'm going to ask each one of you something that's not in the books, that you just settle the score, celebrate it. We're not here to bitch, we're here to celebrate. But just like, what is in your heart for, I mean, Baayork, I just interviewed you this week. She hasn't slept in 2 years, this girl. And she is an organizational juggernaut. But all of you, even today, this morning, just in this time we've spent together, I heard hearts exploding. And these friendships are, you'd be lucky to have friends like this all these years later. So Baayork, I'm going to start with you. Whatever's in your heart that you want to share with everybody here and all over the internet. Hello, internet all over the world. Thank you for being here. Go.
I want a chorus line to live forever. I want all of those people who were in the tape sessions and told their stories and the original company, I want them to be recognized. And that's what I want, yes.
Donna?
Oh, gosh. Well, Michael Bennett gave me the most wonderful opportunity. We had worked together before, we had danced together. He wanted his show. He wanted the perfect, seamless musical to be his very own. And he had so many friends that he picked and interesting people that he appreciated. And to be part of that, he gave me the greatest gift in shaping a number to give me my first true artistic voice. It was a dream, you know, to find that expression in such a personal way in the show. So yeah, it means everything to me to be here with you.
Priscilla?
I think about when we did the gala and the extraordinary adventure it was to have all these companies come and be part of that night. And I went with Michael to Gene Shalit, is that his name?
Mm-hmm. The critic, yeah.
And we were promoting the event of the gala, and I was going to sing What I Did for Love there, and I was so happy because I'll tell you, I was in love with Michael Bennett from when we worked together in Henry Street, Henry. So,
wow.
And I always wanted to be in a show that was choreographed and directed by Michael Bennett, you know? So, again, and that was, of course, so but what I'm saying is that when we got into the limo, I said, oh, I'm alone with Michael, I'm so happy when we were going there. And then he said to me, what have I done? What have I done? He suddenly got scared that he was doing this huge thing and it wasn't gonna come off great. And I said, Michael, don't worry, you've done it, it's beautiful. And so it was just nice to have that moment with him, and him, instead of me being vulnerable to him, he was being vulnerable to me. So, and I thank him like Donna does, and I wish I could relive it all over again. I'm so sad when I think about how he's not here for so long, but I've talked enough. Kelly.
Carol J. Bishop.
Carol with an E. Now you've got me thinking like crazy. I'm thinking too about Michael. I'm remembering the night that we did the tape session, and he kind of put himself there. He wasn't originally supposed to be there, and I always kind of knocked horns with Michael. And I think he got really angry with me, and I think he was highly amused by it. He got off on it, you know. And suddenly I went, Michael Bennett's going to be, oh boy, oh boy. So I sat on the other end of the circle. But I remember him saying, I think there's a show here, and I'm going to tape this, and we'll see what we do. And then of course, he was right, but then we got to workshop, and he just kept playing with it. The one thing I remember about Michael when I worked with him in Promises, I think was the first time I worked with him, he would not move on with the show. I mean, this is what like Promises. It was a written show. And he would not move on to the next beat, or next number, until he got that first one right. And you could work on that. I remember that, working 2 weeks, it seemed like, on one number, and then finally he was satisfied. Then he'd go to the next number, and he did the same thing with us. He worked on that opening number until he could allow himself to go to the next one. And as far as being in love with him, I think we were all in love with him. I think he was in love with all of us. And he was one of... And he was a master manipulator. I've never seen anyone work people like this man. I mean, when I was saying earlier backstage, when we were doing a chorus line, I remember looking at him, watching him work with everyone. There were 18 of us on the line? Yeah, 18? 16, okay. I saw 16 directors. It was a different director for the needs of each performer, and it was fascinating to watch. The guy was brilliant, and we did lose him too soon. He was a genius, wasn't he? Yeah, he was a genius, and he was cute. Boy, did
Go ahead.
But I was his first friend in New York. I was 12, and he would come down every summer from Buffalo to our dancing school, Sevilla Forge Dancing School. So he was more like a brother. And I could just tell him anything, like, oh, no, Michael, oh, no. I think I was the only one who could do that. Because
Well,
I
you
knew
all
him so-
became muses on the line, didn't you? You became muses to his,
Yes. All of us.
his
Yes.
hypnosis, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Let me ask about the workshop, because he changed workshops forever. He changed workshop contracts, how things, you still get money, right?
No, we started the workshop.
That's what I mean. He changed it forever. Everything that came after that was because of a chorus line. Am I correct about that?
It was a work in progress, and then
Right.
it became a workshop.
Right.
So we invented that word.
Right. And you guys were down at 890 Studios,
Yep.
right?
Were we there, though? Were we at 890? I don't think we
no.
were.
Oh, not yet?
No.
He bought
had-
He
Chorus
bought it in
Line bought him
87.
890.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
correct. See, I messed up already. Thank you. You're welcome. But let me just say, like those nights, they were long, right? The tape nights and stuff. And you'd leave there, and did you all go drinking? Like, what happened? Did you roll your eyes? Did you go, what the hell am I doing here? Did I do well tonight? Were you doubting yourselves and how you did and being judged? Like, what was that like? So tonight's session is over, and you're all outside. What's happening?
Well, we go home and sleep because we started at 12 midnight and spoke till 12 o'clock.
And there
Really?
was
On 2
there was a
weekends.
little marijuana there, wasn't there? There was a little wine there too.
Yes.
We were fine.
Yeah, we were happy.
But was there self-doubt? Were you worried? Were you going to be cut? Like, did you perform well enough? Did you give the right answers? Was there any of that?
During the workshop?
Oh, the workshop.
Yeah, the workshop.
Oh, well, I remember the day that I found out that nothing was being cut, and I went, what? and I called up Michael and said, Michael, what are you doing? Why are you cutting it? Why are you cutting it? He said, well, no, it doesn't go in the progression of the show. We got to keep going forward, and when you get to nothing, we've passed high school, and I said, please. He said, talk to Bobby. I can't talk to you. So I was just so depressed about that, and
Bobby Avian.
Bob Avian,
Yeah.
his very good friend and collaborator for so many years. Yeah, why was I telling that?
Explain it, because you explained it to me
But
once,
then it
and
went back
it was
in.
a while ago. How it happened that it got back in? Nothing. Wasn't it having to do with Don Pippin and?
Oh, yes. So what happened?
Getting us back on track. Thank you.
Thank you. She's my. What happened was that the drama had been cut, and we were rehearsing it like when I say, be a bobsled, I'm on, the bobsled or whatever. Everybody behind me was forming and doing the bobsled. They were acting out what I was singing. So it was like, and then I found from Pippin, Don Pippin, who was the musical director, he said to them, listen, just get everybody off the stage, put her in center stage, put the spotlight on her, and just let her sing, And that's what they did. So I found that out actually were you here when we came to speak? We spoke here once at the library.
I was here.
You were there,
with
okay.
Don Pippin.
With Don Pippin, right. And he told that story that day. I didn't know that. So
It's interesting, you learn, like I'm looking at you, and I have a question that just came into my head. I talked to Baayork the other day. So if you're a fan of a chorus line and you've played the album to death, like we all did at the 40th anniversary, I don't know if you're aware of this, but they put back a lot of stuff that didn't make it onto the first album, right, because of tape time and stuff like that. So all of 12, Hello, 13, was reinstated the shape, and I said to Baayork the other day, I said, Baayork, were you upset when you weren't on the original cast album? And she said,
I didn't care.
but tell me why you didn't care.
I got it.
You said, I didn't care because I couldn't sing.
Oh, right.
That's what you said to me. Am I making that up?
And Michael
She goes,
Michael,
I wasn't a singer.
Yes, Michael Bennett told me that my understudy, Donna Drake, was going to be the next Judy Garland, and I never let her on. But I also want to say that I did not go to the tape sessions because I said, "Ooh, I don't think I want to go there and just complain about not working and not having a job." So Bobby and we didn't go.
Oh, wow. And just moving down the line, so Donna, I have a lot of history with Donna, and Donna does a great show called My Musical Comedy Life. And in it, she tells the story of the evolution of music in the mirror. And the first time I saw Donna's show, I inherited it from a very talented Tony Stevens and an extremely talented Tommy Walsh. And then it landed in my lap as we continued to fine-tune it and took it to George Wolfe and all that.
This is
no, but I just want to say
how it evolved?
Yeah, so she tells this story. I'm going to tell badly. You tell me if I'm wrong. But, Donna shows up, with a dance bag, and, only she can speak that language when she's talking. And, where's the dance? Like, she's got it all going on. But Marvin goes, hey, Donna, you want to hear your number? And she goes, yeah, Marvin, sure, yeah. Am I good so far?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. And then
this is inside the
I'm going to let her finish it. And so she starts singing this thing called Inside the Music is the name of the song, right? And she's singing and jumping octaves, and the dance is coming, and she says something like, Marvin, that's really, really nice, but who's going to sing it while I dance? Ima Sumac? And then she gently lowers us into, and you have a beautiful little speech, but luckily they came to you, take
with
over.
The music in the mirror as it finally emerged.
But you said something like they all came to their senses. And
yes, well, let me just say something about, and tell me, because they were there, what I found so wonderful, first of all, just a quick thing about that tape session. The feeling was nobody asked dancers to speak in shows, right?
The singers were the singers, the dancers were the dancers.
And get the extra lines. That's what happens. So to sit around with your peers, people you've worked with in other shows, and Michael set it up. This has been written about so much, but I found it so exhilarating by the end of the evening because he set it up with 3 questions that Zach, the director, essentially, that's how he starts the show. And going around each person, talking about how they started dancing, they got into their families. We didn't know where this was going. People started talking about things that were revealed that they never shared with anyone. And it was very powerful and moving and emotional for people, and funny. We laughed, we cried,
We
and
smoked.
And
What did you say? What did she say?
We smoked.
Oh, I didn't. I just drank the red wine. I didn't smoke. But you know, it was exhilarating to see then. I just have to say this quickly. Michael's ability. He said to us, "I don't know what it's going to be." I think he knew what it was going to be, but he had to like loosen it up a little. Movie. He took all of these tapes to Joe Papp, who is our champion, another hero in the story, and Joe listened to 3 minutes, and he said, "You've got a theater." He gave him the Newman Theater, and then we started working. And I just have to segue into this. In the beginning, what I found fascinating, the whole 2 workshops, was that it wasn't always wonderful. You know, in fact, some of it was really depressing. We didn't have the line. We weren't standing on the line at first. We were sitting in a semicircle on the stage. And we would go from person to person talking about how bad our childhood was. So you can imagine. I mean, that's just, it evolved by his ability to have that, you know, it's like he puts it all out, and some of it doesn't work, and he goes, "Oh, now I can fix it." That seemed to be the modus operandi. At one point, I think he lost his objectivity. I'm not sure, but he invited, Joe Papp had never seen any of our stuff until one day, Michael, I think, wanted Joe's feedback because he was getting lost. We were in that black box for weeks. And Joe's Papp came in. Do you remember that day with his staff? And they sat there. We did what we had before the songs, right? And Michael looked at Joe Papp and he said, "Well, what do you think?" And he was crying, and he said, "It's great." And Michael said, "What good are you? Get out of my theater."
Joe was a theater animal. It's amazing. Coming down this line, Priscilla, I have a jackpot question for you, and I'm very, very interested in this personally. So, you knew you had nothing, right? You knew you had that song, right?
No? At what point?
Whenever you did know. But did you know you had Kiss Today Goodbye? Did you know?
No, what happened was...
Like, how did you get the jackpot of that? So you stop the show cold with nothing, and then you kill us and break our heart, and of course the chorale and the vocal arrangement stuff. But like, was that song always yours? Did it get auditioned for by multiple people? What I Did for Love, yes, I'm sorry.
He said, "And you're going to be singing," he just told me I was going to be singing What I Did for Love, and I said, "Oh." And so I never rehearsed it. He never let me rehearse it. And I would only hear it at lunchtime when Marvin would play it out in the piano.
Right, but nobody else had sung it, right?
No.
He had in his mind that it was going to be Morales.
I guess so. And
I mean, didn't you freak the F out? These 2 killer songs.
I don't know. I think it had to do with the character, because Deanna Morales, she doesn't give up. At the last scene, she's saying, "I don't care. I've come this far, and I'm not giving up now." You know, because the other characters had different, you know, things what they would do. Like you said, you were going to go up and farm, right? You were going to go up to the state and cook and
Get fat and dance in the kitchen, right?
get fat and dance in the kitchen. And
There was mother section that
you were going to open a dancing school. Yes, you said, "Oh, maybe I'll go back and open a dancing school, blah, 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 blah." So, but Deanna Morales said, "No, I've come this far, I'm not giving up." And so maybe that was it, you know,
Well, also, I just showed you that scene today. You were there when Paul went down.
Yes.
We saw your sneakers today.
Yes.
And if you don't mind, I don't know what you're about to say, but you said, "I'll tell you how that happened," and I'm all ears, and I'm sure you all want to know. Go.
So we were rehearsing.
Kelly, I'm not forgetting you, don't worry.
And tell me if I'm wrong. And doing things, whatever, and Michael comes up to be part of this scene or whatever, and he falls down, and he's going, "Oh, God, oh, God." He did that whole thing, and we all gathered around him. "Quick, get this, do that, do this."
I ran to the bathroom to get wet towels paper towels to put on his knee because I knew he had a problem with his knee. And I come out, and everybody's standing around laughing.
Because he
and
did it. Wait,
I
are you
said,
saying he did it as an acting exercise?
Yeah.
yes,
He wanted to see
yes.
He got up and he said,
Yes.
okay, remember exactly how
Yes.
you felt.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
And Sammy,
Oh my God.
Sammy Williams had a prescription for Valium. He was running out to get this prescription. I was in the bathroom. I mean, people were
Very
just running
resourceful
around.
cast. Yeah. Let me see what's in my
And-
bag.
And he said to you all, because I didn't hear it, you know, remember this. And I came out, I said, what's going on here? And he said, oh, well, you know, I was just doing this. And I said, I was so
Improvisation.
angry. He was going to give a party that night, and I said, I'm not coming to your party.
You gave it to him. Now,
I
yes.
just paced. I looked down and I just paced back.
Yeah,
and
what do you
forth
do when
and
you can't
back and
dance
forth
anymore?
and
It's
back.
just so
I mean,
interesting.
I
this.
felt helpless.
Yeah.
I was just worrying a lot, you know, but I couldn't physically do anything.
Kelly,
because
you
a
have
lot of
something
people
to say
came
here?
in.
Yeah, only because when I said so rudely, I'm sorry, Michael, but you know you were a master manipulator. That's exactly what he did, because you have to remember, some of us had done principal roles and were moving on as actors, but so many of those people had only danced. They'd never been put in a position like that. They were trying, but they didn't get it, and so that's what Michael did. He showed them, and that's why he said, remember what you were feeling. Oh, okay. That was a little acting project for him. He was amazing. He was amazing.
Now, how many people in the audience here played Sheila? Okay, one. Wait, who else? Any other? One. Where did you play it? No. What's your name? Catherine.
Oh, my God.
From Guys and Dolls,
Catherine
Donna.
Enright?
Catherine. So I want to ask you, Kelly, so because, you know, who can forget? You know, can the adult smoke? Like it's, you know, it's in your brain forever. And the voice is identical. She walked in today and I was like, oh, I'd know that voice anywhere, you know, especially from the cast album. But how did your musical pieces come together?
Well, initially, Sheila, I was almost snarky about it. When I was first handed...
No, really?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Sometimes it happens. Michael had me come in to actually audition for Marvin Hamlish when there were, you know, the little auditions way downtown before we came together as a workshop. And I'm going, I just come off the road from doing West Side Story, and I'm going, I don't have anything. And Michael just said, come down anyway. And he said, sing something, sing America. So I did. I mean, not that much of it. And then he said, okay, that's good. And so that Marvin understood that. Then he gave me pages to read. And I looked at it, and it was everything, not everything, but everything that was on there was exactly verbatim what I had said in the tape sessions.
Oh, wow.
And so, okay, and now I'm walking out of the audition.
I know how to do this.
Yeah. And Michael walks alongside me. There were like 4 or 5 other women there. We called them girls in those days, didn't we? And
To be a girl.
yeah,
again.
hard. Yeah. Remember? And you know, I knew they were auditioning for Sheila. And he said, don't tell anybody, but you're going to get it. And I said, oh, great, I get to do me. Like who else is going to do? You know, I mean, that was my relationship with Michael. And then when we got to workshop, to rehearsal, the Sheila dialogue, or it was a monologue basically, back and forth and back and forth. And then pretty soon it turned into a dialogue with Zach, which is pretty much where it stands now. And then the day came that they told us that it was really, they're going to put the music in. And Michael called me and a few of us, I guess, and that's when he said, you're still going to have some of your dialogue, but then it's going to become a song. And I remember thinking, oh, no. I'm like, with Baayork, no, don't do this to me. And then he said, it's going to be a trio. And I went, trio? I love trios. I love the sound. I always get to sing bottom. This is great. And of course, then they played at the ballet and knocked me out. But that's how it evolved.
Well, you guys, on Sunday night, there's a performance. It's not a chorus line, the show, but there are tons of elements and all kinds of things going into it. But today, I got to witness them talking about Sunday night. I was like just freaking out. It's going to be so amazing. But I want, just sticking with the music event. Baayork, did you want to say something? I'm sorry, you're picking up the mic.
I wanted to say that
Yes.
I had to audition for my part, for my life. And I went in and I said,
Who else was running around that was 4'10"?
And I said, if I don't get this part, whoever gets it, I'm going to kill her. Because it was my life. All of those are my words, So Marvin asked me to come in, and he said, just talk. And he played my personality, and that was my melody.
We've both worked with Kristen Chenoweth, and Kristen Chenoweth did a chorus line in her, wherever she went to college, in Oklahoma somewhere. But it's the Bible Belt, right? And they couldn't sing tits and ass. She played Val, right? So they changed it to boobs and butt. And it actually worked, but because they couldn't say tits or ass. Isn't that funny? Boobs and butt. Anyway, I want to talk about this. So I just want to talk about Jonathan Tunick, if I may, okay? So Jonathan Tunick, of course, made a reputation with Sondheim and beautiful things like A Little Night Music and many others, famous for strings and stuff like that. If you listen to a chorus line and you've got electric guitar and you've got, horns, and I listened to it this morning, it's just thrilling. It's just thrilling. No matter how many times, it's still got surprises in it. But I want to zero in on something. Anybody who's done a Broadway show, how many of you here have been on Broadway? Okay. How many of you have toured or done community theater? Okay. So the day of the Sitz Probe is where I'm going to go with this. A Sitz Probe is when the cast first hears the orchestra, the orchestrations, and they get up and stand. I don't know, did you have mics back then for the Sitz Probe?
Yes.
Because it was a non-mic'd show. You were floor mics. Now we stand with a mic stand at the Sitz Probes. What was it during chorus line?
I don't remember.
No, because
were
they
in the
were throwing out
library.
their voices.
What?
Because you were capable singers to fill a theater.
Well, it was acoustic. It was a library. Remember when Marvin, his mother came in with his lunch and he had to stop?
Oh wow! But you heard the orchestrations for the first time, and Jonathan Tunick with all that stuff. Like, what was happening to your heartbeats? You'd been rehearsing. I imagine in rehearsal you probably had a piano and rhythm.
Yes.
Yeah, and now you're hearing all of it.
I was in the back. I was scared.
Did you freak?
I can't
freak
sing.
out?
It was exhilarating. It was so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous.
The first
That's the
time,
best
when
part
you
of
hear your
musical.
orchestration for the first time, you just can't even believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Priscilla, what?
I know,
What
it's
felt?
just,
What happened on your two big songs?
Well, nothing is full of a lot of stuff, and little surprises with the horn I always loved the Sitz Probe because it's the next layer of what we're doing, All shows, and the next layer after that I love are costumes, because then they give you another indication of who you are, So they're very exciting, and I don't know.
Ellie, do you remember
Well,
being there?
I remember when we finally started hearing the one thing that knocked me out was the underscoring for Sheila. Naturally, because I was listening, and it was this wonderful. It was so perfect. It was like boom, 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 boom. It was really sexy. But then there was this flute that came in that became really sort of like fantastic. But I remember when I didn't go with the company to California when Michael moved the original company off to California, but I did go when I left the show, because as I told you, I'm always the first person to leave a show. I don't know why. Especially those shows where you go, oh, this show's a hit. I could have a job for 5 years, and then I'm going, what's over there? But I went out to California. I was no longer in the show, and I sat in the orchestra pit. And I just sat right in the orchestra pit with him, and I wept. And I remember Priscilla's husband is a wonderful trombonist, Vinnie Fanuelli, and he was in the orchestra. And afterwards he said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "You just wept through the entire thing." But the underscoring, and so many people don't know that about a chorus line. If if you're watching it, because you don't
Monologues with
hear it,
music under them pulsating and
it-
waiting to explode.
it's incredible. The orchestrations in that are just
Donna, when you
amazing.
first heard Music in the Mirror, like what happened to your heart?
Which version? Thrilling. It lifts you up. I mean, I thought, oh, now I can get through it, I'm sure. It just lifts you up. It's fantastic.
But it wasn't the vocal histrionic that Inside the Music ever was. That thing was crazy.
Well, first of all, I made Michael let me audition. I mean, I knew that I was going to be part of something that he was doing. In fact, I knew it for like 3 years because I said, I'm getting older, so I don't want to do this on a walker, so let's... I went in, and so I auditioned, and it's like shooting yourself in the foot. I did Musetta's Waltz,
Oh, wow.
and because I wanted to show off my high notes, my soprano, because I was a passionate student, acting and singing, and so Marvin, they were very accommodating. They wrote this song with a high C, and that's what I mean. You shoot yourself in the foot because it was just so obvious that it was ambitious, and when we started rehearsing, so that went in one day.
Ambitious.
I mean, when you think of all of the things that we started with that changed over time, with Michael's, and they'd have the meetings after, and the only thing that was the longest haul, and I told Richard about Goodbye 12, that's when everyone started having anxiety attacks and nervous breakdowns, because we did that facing the back wall, Goodbye 12, for weeks. And, remember that when it was just, no. It was just my nervous breakdown, I guess.
Just talking about standing on the line, I've always wondered about this too. I'm sure you have. I can guarantee it. So you stand a lot. How did that get a lead? I'm smelling sciatica, like you stood for a long time. Yes, you got some reprieves, but what was that like for your bodies? Anybody can address this.
Yeah, we did stand a lot, and I was very happy because I was well covered. I was wearing tights, I was wearing socks, I had a turtleneck, I had a little sweater on top. But there, her costume was made to make her look naked to be seen. So
she did a good job.
And then, like Trish Garland, she just had this little tiny thing. So it was freezing. I mean, this is the story. It was freezing, and we were all so upset. And they kept saying...
Except me, because I had
leg warmers.
Leg warmers all the way up to here. And I said, this is what I want to wear because I don't want to get cold.
I know. But they at this point, I was the deputy.
This is before they had massage therapists backstage. No, at Broadway shows, no vacation days, no personal days. We were talking about this today, but you had a comedy, something happened to your bodies.
They turned off
There was no heat.
Yeah, I know it was a matinee day, and then they turned off the heat because they closed the offices upstairs in the Schubert, so they turned off the heat.
Oh.
Yeah, that's okay. They're dancing, they'll be fine. Yeah.
So the thing was that we had been complaining about this problem, and so they said, we're going to bring heaters or whatever. That never happened, so I decided to have a strike. I said, we're going on a strike. We're not going to do this matinee.
Like a union strike?
Equity
or
deputy.
I was the deputy.
Equity
Oh, you were the
deputy.
deputy. Oh, God bless you. Go.
I know. So I said, no show. And who was the one who was, not Del Percio, the woman who was sort of the company manager? She was around all the time. She just...
Terry Marone.
No, it doesn't matter. Renee, She was a brunette. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But so they got. I said, "There's no show until we get some heat here." So they said, "Heaters are coming. Heaters are coming." So there were 2 little heaters over there.
Oh, God.
2 little heaters over there.
Oh.
I mean, it was really, yeah, it was.
Yeah, I remember walking out after that matinee and saying, if I come back here and it's just cold, I'm going home. I'm calling in sick. I'm not
Donna,
doing it.
you were naked too. Were you freezing in that little thing?
Gosh, I don't remember. I'm a sweater, so maybe that's.
Oh, okay.
I've got this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't. Well, of course, standing there. Yes, I remember that.
Because it was
early
long.
on.
When you
Yeah.
watch the show now, I go, wow, my body would be killing me right now. But I want to say a couple of things. One is about Kelly in particular. You know, once I agreed to do this, when Baayork asked me, and I was freaking out, I thought, can I do this? I was watching the internet like voraciously, right? And when it was announced that Kelly was going to be a part of this and Lauren Graham was participating the weekend too, the internet shit went up. Like, it exploded because of Gilmore Girls. So I thought I better watch me some Gilmore Girls. I've never seen one episode, so I did, and I understand the fever. But I want to say something about these people and the people they were on the line with, and this is emotional. And I reminded Baayork, you hadn't forgotten, but I reminded you about in the original program, which you slaved over when you had a playbill, right? Because that was the only information you had. There was no internet, you know, it wasn't in the Funkin' Wagnalls yet, you know, chorus line. And what that line represented at that time that could never, ever, ever happen again in history is the number of shows those dancers danced in, right? The number of bus and trucks they did, the roles, the dogs on the road. Like, they broke it down as to what you're looking at today, ladies and gentlemen, are people who did X, Y, Z. And as you have to feed the beast, I did this for years with Les Mis. Once you go through a talent pool, you got to develop people. You become a teacher. You're no longer a director. You know what I mean? You become an instructor. And so if you wanted to play Mike and you just got out of college at U of M and you could do the calisthenics, you would be cast. But the original cast will always represent. They were on the line. They were gypsies. And now they were being celebrated and thrown into iconic status with personalities and voices and abilities. And they could sing and they could dance. And hence the beginning of really the triple threat. There were very few triple threats. You know, maybe Gwen Verdon, you know, like a few. But, and this set a fire. It changed the theater forever, especially if you wanted to be a part of it at the time. And I don't know, would you say
I
anything
always
to
felt
that?
for young dancers, after we did the show and people left and went on to other things, I thought, you know, for young dancers, it's like going to university. It's the first time we had character, generally speaking, character names instead of just, it was chorus then, not ensemble.
Right.
And everyone had a name. Everyone was encouraged to bring all their personal feelings to bear in this through the character. And that's like going to a major school, you know. And
They were in
get
Baayork, Minnie's Boys. I mean, you read that in that original program, it is mind-boggling. It takes 2 hours to dissect who was in that show. And even the people who got cut in the beginning. Do you know what I'm saying? And I just think it can't be forgotten that this was their lives. Yeah, it's a hit show, but it's sort of like when I direct something and, you know, people are like, oh, I'm going to kill it, I'm going to kill the high notes, stuff like that. It doesn't matter the high notes. What matters is the first few bars. Do you have this character? Can you do anything? Can you engage me? Because everybody's skrelting. And this was so in character, and you fell in love with the characters. More importantly, in the original cast case, you fell in love with the people who played the characters, and they became defining. Go ahead. Does that sound soupy? I really mean it.
What I loved about the workshop was that because it was us, we were encouraged to just be us. So every day you come in feeling this way, so I'll do it this way now, or you do it this way tomorrow, or you did it this way yesterday. But then you get to the show, and the show freezes because you have to have the same show. So I remember Michael Bennett coming back one time
Knock, knock, knock. I think it's time for you to leave.
Who was he saying that to? Who
California.
was he saying it to?
To me,
No, he told all of us
Oh.
in California. Because we weren't those characters anymore.
Oh.
We weren't hungry anymore.
well, the thing that happened, the note that he gave me, this was still in New York. He said, you know, Priscilla, you're Diana Morales, and Priscilla is getting, you know, attention and more things
Yeah,
are
you all
happening
became
for you.
superstars.
But it's all growing and growing, but Diana Morales can't grow because,
Wow.
you see, because then you're changing the show. Because Diana Morales, sure, I want the job, right? And then the next night, sure, I want the job, you know? No, but
With a
seriously,
cigarette.
because that's
Wait
how-
a minute. How did that feel, Priscilla? Was it a slap in the face, or
No. What it did
was a wake up?
that Priscilla Lopez Morales here, Diana Morales was this. It was this. And when he told me that, I realized that, it's
Wow.
Priscilla and Diana. I split.
Oh.
I had to stop being, Diana Morales had to stop being Priscilla Lopez because Priscilla Lopez had surpassed Diana Morales. You know?
You're looking at 4 Tony winners. I don't know if you're aware of this. I would like to know something like, Donna, I have your Showstoppers Black Llama thing in a frame in my house. So when you all were catapulted because your personalities were all so unique and you all danced so well and this was so vivid at the time, were there jealousies? How many on the line? 18?
16.
16, we decided.
Well, because then there was Zach and the assistant.
But when things started happening for people, were there jealousies? Because I always say nothing starts trouble like a hit show. Like people start bitching right away. Like I'm in a hit and all the nerves are over and all the joy in the
I
opening
remember being
night.
tired all the time because it was like chorus line fever. And we knew the show was good. We loved the show. We knew, you know, that it was going to run. I loved being in a hit. But it was like more than that. It's like it was night and day. And it was very hard, I think, for a lot of people. You know, like you say, to separate, to keep the balance. Yeah. And there was a lot of tension in developing the show because people wanted to do their best and have the,
right.
you know, things develop. What I love about it, though, is that Michael coming back to give notes, you know, what I loved about the show when he made decisions about what lines, or James Kirkwood or Nicholas Dante, there were so many people in the tapings that had the same sort of story, you know? And we saw the red shoes, you know, right? Yeah. We talked about it. Other people shared the same thing. So they were able to Michael made the selections so that so it was based on fact, but more of emotional truth, not factual truth. And it was very important for him to have the truth. And so that's another responsibility, to keep that fresh. And the first thing that goes, and you know better than anyone, when you're standing on the line, you lose that any minute, and Michael said this, any minute, any second, you could hear no, you know, next. And so
to bring
it's
tension,
so easy to
bring
lose
tension,
that,
yeah.
the tension that when your stomach is tense and you know, every time you hear him say something, everybody would pull up. That thing was hard, you know, to keep that. That's the first thing that goes. That's what I thought, right? The tension of, so that's alive, you know, when you're standing there and you're feeling that anxiety or a little fear or hopefulness, you're alive standing there. And that's the thing that, yeah.
I remember when we were we were in rehearsal, and as I said, Michael always worked chronologically. And my section, and I think he even at the ballet by then was in the show, but what I was doing was right. It was set, and I knew it, and he knew it, and we all knew it. But when you start to do, and I think many of you are performers, so you'll understand this feeling. If you keep rehearsing, you start to play with it. You just start to change, like you were saying, you change the line or give a different reading. And he did the smartest thing with me because nothing was going to change. I was on my way at that point for an audience. My next step was starting to work with an audience. And so what he would do, he did it so many times until like maybe the end of the week when we do a run through, he skipped me. He would go from Wayne's number and then they go to I really couldn't sing. So I was not going to get stale because it's a real worry if you over rehearse.
Wow.
So it's just that, yeah.
I believe in that. Wow, I knew this time would go very quickly. I didn't know it would go this quickly. So I would like to open up the room because it is 4:01 and let you ask questions. And because of the people on the internet and stuff, because there's no mic, I'm going to repeat your question, right? And then the girls will answer. And so can we turn up the house lights, everybody? By the way,
Did you say girls?
you are girls. You'll always be showgirls to me. So,
I'm proud to be a girl.
okay. So let's start with you back there in the glasses and the white shirt. Stand up, and if you can yell a little, that will be helpful.
Sure, yes, thank you so much. I was wondering if you could speak a bit more about the contributions of Nicholas Dante in terms of the creative process, and Baayork, for you specifically, because you've directed this and staged it for so many decades, what the impact of the AIDS crisis has had on casting of this role, the temperament of the young actors coming in, etc.
Sure. The question is about Nicholas Dante and his contributions, and Baayork was there for all of this, and how it influenced the characters and the shape of the show. And I just want to say, when Les Mis was approaching its 10th year, Bob Avian and John Brailio allowed me to see the big gala performance. They unlocked the tapes, and I couldn't get through it because all the people that I saw that had died in the different companies, Las Vegas, I had to stop the tape. Then there's no Joe Papp, there's no Bernie Jacobs, there's no Nick Dante, there's no Jimmy Kirkwood, who I worked with on P.S. Your Cat is Dead. He gave me my original signed cast album. And so all these creative people just gone. And I had to, and she goes, "Are you all right?" I said, "No, I'm a fucking wreck, And it's just amazing because it got so impacted and we lost so many mentors in that. But Baayork, go ahead and please speak about Nick Dante.
Nicholas had a great contribution, especially the Paul monologue, which is
I remember that night, the tape session. I was there. You weren't, but you know the story. You were there. We had gone around the circle halfway, 3/4, and it was late, 11 o'clock. And Nicholas started, and that monologue was verbatim, word for word. And so you can imagine we are spellbound, we are listening, and our hearts are already open from hearing so many people, their lives and their difficulties. And what I love about that so much, it meant so much to Michael. It was that was so important to have that as it was. It was so perfect. And then what I love about writers, and then James Kirkwood put on the last sentence. So it was all Nicholas, and then there was the writer's sentence.
What was
That's
that?
the first time he called me that.
What was the sentence?
That's the first time he called me that.
Oh, that's the first time he called me that. Take care of my son.
Take care of my son. That was Nicholas.
Okay, honest to God, look at the history. This is shocking and just brilliant. And does that help you at all? Yes. Okay. Yes, you stand up, please, and speak as loudly as you can.
I was wondering, since these characters are so close to you all, did it affect you, or did you have an opinion on who was selected at the end to be a part of the show within the show? Did you care? Did it matter to you? And how was that? How were the characters selected as the final 8?
Michael, he would stand in the back of the house. He would watch the show, and he would change who got the job every night.
He would change. He would change what? Change what, Baayork?
We would
Change?
change who got the job every night.
I
And
never
so
got it.
we would just dance and dance and dance, and then
So
I
you
would
were
get the
skating
job.
on ice, all of you.
Yes,
yeah.
and then
Wow.
poor Alice, the lady who took care of the wardrobe, she said, Michael, we don't know who's coming out, who's dressing, what? And poor Alice had to stop that.
And there she is this week. There's a great video on Instagram with Baayork and Alice Gilbert, but who's the other guy?
And Matthew Kilgore.
Matthew Kilgore. This is hilarious. You got to find it. Here's Baayork Lee. So they're opening boxes, tearing open. Oh, there's a Morales. There's a tits and ass. There's a, you know, and she's, because they're so identifiable who wore those clothes. And there she was supervising. It's hilarious. You look like you wanted to say something.
Yes,
Priscilla.
the elimination.
Yes.
Deanna Morales, I'm just like frozen. Please, God, help me, let me get this job. And then he says, Deanna, and I let out a sigh of relief, and I go forward and say, no, never mind, go back.
Oh, yeah.
And I just got goosebumps again.
Was that experimental also?
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, but then it did stay in
Whoa.
the show.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was
Manipulation, you're right.
No, it
Good
was
job, Michael.
fascinating because the interesting, for me, I never got the show. My character never, ever got the show.
You got it one
Maybe-
night.
Huh? I did.
When I didn't get it, you got
Well,
it.
see that, but no, I didn't get when they changed it initially, and this was so sad for the audience that I think, in fact, I think it was Neil Simon's. He was married to Marsha Mason at the time, and she said Cassie has to get the show because originally, and I thought it was actually I would say. Theatrically, it was probably right that she didn't get the show.
I thought it was either Sheila or Cassie. He had to pick one of them, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, I thought, well, probably with Sheila because she just had such a mouth, you know. But you would stop, and I mean, you all know the staging because you've seen it. But Cassie, Donna would stop right as she was going upstage to the right to leave, and she'd stop and she would turn around and look at Zach, and I by then had been downstage left picking up my bag, and so I walked upstage, and as I got to her, initially I put my arm around her shoulder to lead her out, and I always said to you, let's go get a drink, you know, remember? But then,
Forgot about that.
I said, let's go get a drink. And then Neil Simon came in to doctor, and that usually happens in shows as they're really getting
Close,
together.
yeah.
He sure helped Pam Blair, tits and ass. That dialogue up to that changed so dramatically. It was so perfect that's why, part of the reason it was a showstopper, that number. But anyway, then, so apparently Marsha Mason was devastated by that, and so he changed that. And Michael changed that. And then she also said, we've got to have bows. We didn't do bows. And that, to me, as a very serious artist, I thought that's when the show was perfect. Because what you saw, you came into the theater, you've all seen it.
Right.
You come into a theater, you see a white line, nothing, and then pretty soon this life starts to happen. You go through all of this life with all of these people, and then you see, as the lights go down towards the end, people's different reactions of the people who did get the job. You know, yay, and this and the whole thing. And then it slowly went to black, and then when the lights came up, it was that same stage you saw when you walked in the theater. And that's all you got. The show was over, which was devastating. But I went, mwah, perfect.
Wow.
But-
Who else has a question? Catherine, do you have a question? Catherine Wright, replacement Sheila? Oh, okay. Well, who do we got? Back there in the white, young lady, as loud as you can if possible.
Hi, my name is Lee. I've played Sheila, and I want to thank these four women for the pivotal role they have played in young dancers' lives, about how to be resilient, how to pivot, how to believe that you're more than just a dancer. And I want to thank Baayork and Bob. After I did the London production, they made me audition again, and that made me hungry. Like we were talking about auditioning. And I want to ask you all
Definitely Michael for me. Definitely Michael. To have someone of...
She's one. She's one now who is contributing so much. I mean, you've done, how many companies have you ever counted? And always engaging and helping young performers. Always. And
But if I can say something here, what I'm hearing this afternoon is that you all came to the line already sort of brainiac-y girls, because every story you've told, brainiac-y girls, you were smart to begin with, because you were having conversations with.
Brainiac-y women.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you were girls, but the point is, you had a point of view all the time. You weren't robots, and you had things to say, and you felt things. That's what I heard this afternoon. Am I mistaken, ladies and gentlemen? No. They were smart girls, and they did. They were girls.
You're such a tease.
We all know so many lines from a chorus line, but one of my favorite ones was, "Will I ever be tall enough to walk out that stage door and wear lashes?" There's just so many. Somebody yell out a line from chorus line that you're passionate for. Go.
Nothing will get a girl transferred.
What?
Nothing will get a girl transferred.
Nothing will get a girl transferred. Yes.
I didn't give a fuck about the red shoes.
There you go. Let's have some more. Give me a couple more lines. What? Dance for grandma. Dance for grandma. It's very good. These girls, these ladies, I'm so sorry. I'm going to shut this down because I don't want Lincoln Center mad at me. But I do want to close with you, Baayork, okay? I don't want to cry. And Donna's right about you. And I've learned so much from you. I've learned so much from Donna. I've learned so much from Priscilla, your body of work. What you guys did when you left the show. Time did not stop. It's not like you're an old Follies girl, coming back to the, Winter Garden, and they're going to tear it down, and you might wear a party dress. You are all still vital. But Baayork, close us out with this, because you ladies are in for such an amazing weekend, right? And the torch was handed to you, Baayork, by Michael Bennett, who is very much here. I think next time we get together, we've got to bring a Ouija board because we need some answers. But when did you know the moment was happening where he blessed you and knew his show was safe in your hands? Can you address that, and we'll call it an afternoon?
Well, we were opening night downtown, and we had just come off doing our kicks and all of that, and Michael would always give us notes, so he grabbed me and he said, come here, and I said, oh, okay, notes, and he said, you're gonna do this all around the world, and I went, oh yeah, ha ha ha. Here I am, 50 years later.
I know, and God bless you. And God bless you.
You know, I never ever dreamed
Yeah.
that.
But it's not just that. You run out and do West Side Story, and you do, she's like, I'm going to Atlanta again. I'm going
to Atlanta to City Springs.
Yeah.
Natalie's here.
I go, aren't you exhausted? I'm sorry, you back there in the trucker hat and the cranberry, you really wanted to ask a question? Yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry?
Is that Denise? Yeah. Denise, Alan, Christine.
Go ahead.
Steve Bookbar.
Oh.
I'm so proud of you ladies. It's just incredible what you've accomplished as performers, as actresses, and in the theater. But individually, I know you, and I think you're charming and accomplished women. So I love
love you, Steve.
We love you,
all
Steve.
I've heard, but in my shoe, we have what's known as a cottage. And can I take just a moment to do one little cottage thing?
Please.
And say tribute to Michael and to Bob, who we all love for many, many years. In addition, I'd like to mention Tommy Walsh, Chris Jackson, Sammy Williams, Nick Dante, Tony Stevens, first show was on here with him.
Oh, wow.
And that was 1966 after I got out of the service. And big love to Tom Porter, who kept that show running.
Stage
And
manager.
wonderful accolades to Troy Garza, who we spoke to recently. But ladies, you've been superb. I appreciate every moment. And my wife and I talk about chorus line, maybe every day.
Well, I don't think we're going to end up doing any better than that. Ladies, take a bow. Take a bow. And thank you all for coming. And thank you all, Internet. It's fantastic. I'm in awe, just like you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming and spending the afternoon with us.
So, are we on? Can we talk about what's the...
Hi, everybody. Hi, I'm Roberta Pereira. I'm the Executive Director of the Library for the Performing Arts. Thank you so much for being here, celebrating the library's 60th anniversary and Chorus Line's 50th anniversary. What a special day. And we wanted to invite you now, if you want, on our first floor. We did pull some of those original lyrics that Doug was talking about. So we have some of those drafts up there from our archive. We have some snacks there. And very soon we're going to have a special surprise. So we invite you to go up. You can go up the elevator and join us on the first floor of the library. So we'll see you soon up there.